Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Billy's house from the show The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. If you enjoy this classic Cartoon Network cartoon house, then please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. And ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. So just before we start building, everybody, here are all of the materials that we will need to make our house. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the house is a surprising 41 by 32 block area, as represented by the large white grid on the ground, which I would highly recommend that you make if you are planning out a world. It will just help you make sure that nothing bumps into anything else. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to. Do make sure that you have all the stuff. Make sure you got enough room to make it. Make sure you're ready. And once you are, we can begin. Step 1, my classic cartoon house building friends. Come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid. If you've made it, count to the right of this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, on top of this 12th block, we are going to begin by placing 8 birchwood planks on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I then want you to place 7 upright diagonally placed birchwood planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are now going to do 7 more, but going down and to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like that. And then I want you to extend that 7th block all the way down to the ground. But what I also want you to do, this is a very important part of the build, I want you to place 12 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows of birchwood planks extending backwards from what will be the left and right hand sides of the house. This is going to form the side walls. These are very important, number 1, because we don't want any holes in the build. But number 2, we have to connect a garage to the... Well, actually, it's not a garage. My bad. We have to connect kind of like an additional smaller part of the house to itself on that right side of the house. There's like the big, large main part of the house, which is what we're going to be focusing our attention on mostly at this particular point in time. But then there is like a little tinier part of the house. It looks like a little room of some sort. So we want to extend the walls backwards like this, and in addition to extending those walls backwards, we also want to create the same triangular structure on top of the walls that we did on the front. Now what you can do is you can count 7 diagonals from either side, and then you can just extend them down like we did on the front. Or alternatively, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to count whatsoever, and I am going to simply just copy the front of the building. If you can just see the front of the build, you can quite easily just copy it, just make sure everything lines up perfectly. And it will be a dead giveaway as to whether it does line up perfectly, because the triangular shape will of course connect down to the left and right sides as it does on the front. So now that we have focused a lot of our attention on that particular part of the building, guys, what we are going to do is the small little structure that I talked about earlier. So on the front and back of the build, I want you to count inwards. On the front right hand side, on the back right hand side, I want you to count inwards 1, 2, and then place a row of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 birchwood planks extending outwards from the side of the house. So that'll be count inwards 2, and then place the row of 9. You can join the row of 9 together at the side like this. That's exactly what you want to do there. And then you want to raise up the entire right side of this little room upwards by 3 rows. So that's just going to be 1, a 2, a 3, like that. And it actually wants to have pretty much the same roof that the main house does. So all we have to do is place rows of birchwood planks on the sides here, turning into a little pyramid just like that. So That's all you have to do for that little particular side part of the house. And what I think that we will also do whilst we are here, we might as well, shall we use green terracotta, and we're going to place the windows. So there is a window on the front and the back. The window is situated, basically, on the left side here, you just want to place 2 rows of birchwood planks coming inwards from the left side, and on the right side, just 1 row. So essentially, you have 2 rows on the left, 2 rows on the right, and then we're stuck in the middle. And you want to use green terracotta on the inside of those 2 parts, glass in between, and then you can raise up the green terracotta and you can raise up the glass pane in between, and that is the window. And you can do this on both sides. So on the front, on the back, we are going to raise up the exact same green and glass like this. And you can place some birch planks in between them, up to the height of the birchwood row that is just like on the side of us, like this, right? And we can also install part of the roof. So the roof, we are going to use probably the same material as the window really, so green terracotta. And the roof sits on the side of the build like this, it overhangs 1 row, and the green terracotta is basically going to go all the way around the outside, and this is the easiest way to show it. I'm just adding what I would call the overhang of the roof, or sometimes I refer to it as the trim of the roof because it's just the outer parts like this. You can see that it just kind of like overhangs and goes around the jagged shape that we created earlier, and then all one has to do, one being you and me, we have to just extend it towards the center of the house. I do believe that we will hit a point where... Yes, okay, so we'll hit a point where, and it's just 1 block, so it's quite unfortunate. This block here will, I mean, if you keep extending it, will keep going and going and going and going, it'll actually hit that house over there. But if you just extend it to the same point as the other blocks, then you should be perfectly fine. And then that, later on, will actually naturally connect to the outer part of the roof. So where would it connect in theory? So it'd connect right here, because we'd have the row of green right here. So we actually extended it to the correct space. And if we wanted to, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, what we could do is, now that we've done that roof, we could actually do this roof as well. There's actually nothing stopping us. I don't know why. But it's the exact same idea, and I always start this way. Whenever I make a roof in this way, whether it's with solid blocks or slabs, in which it's kind of like this roof that goes all the way around, it's using solid blocks rather than like stairs, where stairs can get a little bit, they can get a bit creative with themselves. They can kind of contort themselves into all different ways, so it's kind of hard to place them individually, kind of like this, stacked next to each other. But when it's blocks like this, I like to make the outline of the roof kind of how you see me doing now, and then I just like to fill the inside of it in. I find it the easiest way to do it, and it's especially satisfying when it's a roof like this. So like this, right, and then it will come down here. It's especially satisfying when it's quite a normal roof and it will just like connect from one end to the other, and then just fill the center of it in. There's really nothing else to it. The roof is pretty much green, like the color is set in stone, not literally stone, terracotta or concrete. I guess concrete is a kind of stone. The color is set in stone, being green, but I mean, you can use any color of green, is kind of what I'm getting at. I always like to give you guys different options when it comes to roofs. Unfortunately, this one is like, because it's green, there's not really a stairs block, because I know that not everybody likes kind of like this sort of like blocky looking roof, and I would prefer a more shapely block myself as well, although I don't think that this looks bad. But when it comes down to it, I don't really want to change the color of the roof too much. But if you are absolutely 100% dead stuck on like using an actual stairs block, I don't even know which one to recommend. One that closely matches this. There's not really a stairs block that's even really that remotely green, except perhaps some of the sea orientated blocks. But I mean, I guess you could use dark prismarine, but it's not a nice looking stairs block, to be honest, because of the texture of it. But you could use dark prismarine if you were dead set on having on using stairs for your roofs. Anyway, the point is we now have 2 pretty decent sized roofs taken care of. On the front and back of the build, there are more details. On the front of the build, there is an entrance. The entrance we are going to place now. We're going to use birchwood planks, and we're going to extend both sides of the front and the bottom of the build inwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, that's 5 there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And then we're going to extend upwards by 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to join it together at the top using birchwood slabs. I know that's peculiar. We're going to join it together at the bottom using smooth stone slabs. We're going to extend the smooth stone forwards by 1 row. Behind the entrance here, we are going to give it an outline of green terracotta. So, all the way around the inside of the entrance, green terracotta. We're going to place lime terracotta in between. Just like that. It makes quite a satisfying door. I don't think that we ever use these smooth stone slabs again. So we can grab a birch button and we can make it look as though like we've got a little door handle. So that can go there, or it can go above, something like that. It's kind of weird looking. What you could do is you could even make the entrance a little bit higher here. But I'm going to leave it as is. We have a set of windows as well. Now, the windows are all a little bit different from each other. On the left side of the build here, we're going to use green terracotta, and we're going to place 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, just on the outer parts of the door and on the outer parts of the house. We're going to place white stained glass in between them, so we will have 2 2x2 windows, if you don't count the green terracotta. So, something like that, right? And then we want to leave 2 whole rows, 1, 2 above the windows, like this, 2 whole rows directly above the windows. And then we're going to have 2 more windows. So the ends of the windows will actually start in the same way by placing 2 green terracottas on both sides. But we will then place 3 rows of glass pane, 1, 2, 3, whoops, 3, and 1, 2, 3, I know that's 4 over there, there we go. And then we will place green terracotta extending inwards. So instead of the 2x2, we have a 2x3. And that's exactly how the house looks. It has windows slightly larger in that particular position. And we're going to place some birchwood planks just directly above. And then we are going to place 1 more layer of birchwood planks directly above, just 1 layer, and I'm not even sure if that's the right thing to do. I'll show you why in a sec. We're going to place a white stained glass block right in the center here of the birchwood plank row. It's directly where the lime terracotta of the door is, and we'll extend the glass upwards too. Extend the middle right one, the middle left one, and then we will simply place some green terracotta in each one of the 4 corners. Now here's the thing, the upper part of the house is textured, and to achieve that texture we are going to be using some birch stairs. So the birch stairs are going to be placed like birch plank blocks, except they're stairs. So it gives you an interesting texture, it looks kind of sort of cool, and I don't know what else to say. I just like how it looks. But I'm not sure whether to start this particular texture here above these windows or to start it here where we already have this window. I might actually leave it because if we place a stairs block, then the bottom of that circular window, it's supposed to be circular, hard to do in Minecraft, would look a little bit weird. But that's pretty much the front of the house done, ladies and gentlemen. What you can do is now whip around to the back of the house. We're going to make the same windows that we did on the front of the house. We're not going to add a back door because I don't know if there is one. There is almost certainly a back door, but I don't know where it is. I don't know of window locations on the back of the house. I couldn't find any information regarding that, and I'm not going to add stuff that I don't know is there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add, and I also don't know whether there would also be a circular window on the back of the house as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the same 4 windows that we have over there. And the way that I did that, by the way, was I literally just looked forward and copied it. Just in case you're wondering, like, how is he doing that so fast? What is he doing? Literally just looking directly forward and copying the same set of windows. The only difference is, like I said, I'm not going to add an entrance that I don't know is here. And I'm also not going to add any other sort of flavorful windows or stuff. So I'm only going to add these 4 simple windows just so that the house doesn't look weird. If you know more about the house itself than I do, which is very possible, I actually watched the show all the way back when. I watched a lot of it, but that was a long time ago. So, and I can't find any images that help me out with the back. So all above these windows, leaving a gap of 1, like leaving a whole row of birchwood planks above these windows, I'm just going to have rows and rows and rows and rows of birchwood stairs just built up on top. So just like this. And this is just going to fill in the gap, just like that, the same way that it does on the front, just to give it that interesting sort of texture. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is majoritively, notice I say majoritively, the actual main part of the house complete. There is more though, so I'm going to get rid of, I don't think I need the glass block anymore. Actually don't need the pane either, or the birch. I'm going to grab iron bars. I'm also going to grab some spruce leaves, and I'm also going to grab the dark iron. And you know what, I'll get rid of the birchwood slab as well, and I'll grab the wooden shovel. On the back right hand ish area of the roof, so kind of like sort of the lower middle back part of the roof here, you could even line it up with the center of the house. We need an antenna, so the antenna is basically just made out of iron bars. Maybe like place it about here, should be easy to find. You just want to place like 2 iron bars, extend the second one to the right by 1, place 2 more iron bars on top of each other, and then place the one next to the top to the left. And that's pretty much all you've got to do. A very, very simple little aerial, and that's not even a bad position for it whatsoever. There is a large chimney on the side of the house. The large chimney is going to be made out of green concrete, and you just need to locate the middle of the house first of all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty easy, 6 blocks either side. We're going to extend that single block to a row of 3, and we're going to extend the green concrete upwards like this. It wants to extend up and through the roof, and it wants to end up about as high as the roof itself. So just give it a second. We have a few blocks to do here, about as high as the roof. Is that as high as the roof? It kind of looks like as high as it. Yeah, that's as high as the roof. We're going to add another row of green concrete extending inwards like this, and this row of green concrete is going to extend up as high as the row that we just placed. There is a rather large chimney attached to the house. That's what we're doing here. And I'm highly considering adding another row, so yet another row I think that we're going to add, and this particular row is going to supersede the previous 2 rows simply by 1, like this I think, and we'll match that row just next to it because we want it to look good. And then I'm going to add just one more row or one more layer of green concrete, this is green concrete isn't it, to the outside here, and it's just going to be 1 row shorter than the actual rest of the chimney, so kind of like in a little gradient. It's a weird looking chimney, I'll grant you that, but like from this view in particular, it's supposed to look like this. It is rather large in comparison to the house, and that's why we needed the green concrete, just so that we've got I mean, it's not a very good contrast. I mean, you can't tell that much, but you can certainly tell it's a different colour from the rest of the house, and it is a darker colour, so that's why I didn't use the lime terracotta. Anyways, we now want to use some spruce leaves. There are there's some bushes kind of just like thrown in front of the house. You don't have to be that precise with them. They're more so in the front corners here, and there's also some bushes kind of like in the front garden. Just build up a few little bushes kind of like that. There may be some around the back of the house. You're more than welcome to add those as well, but again, I'm not adding stuff that I don't know is there. There is a path leading out from the front of the house. Now this path is a bit curvy in nature. I'm going to start by placing 1, 2, 3 rows of grass path extending from the front door. I'm then going to have the path fade to the right by 1, and I'm also going to have 3 rows of the path fading to the right. I'm also going to have 3 rows of the path sort of like fading to the left. The path actually isn't even going to come as far as the boundary. It's kind of going to just look like that. So like just 3 rows, 3 by 3, another 3 by 3, another 3 by 3, like one going straight, the other one slightly to the right, and then the other one kind of like course correcting a little bit. And if you did want to kind of like connect it back to the street, you'd more than be able to, you'd be able to do this. I don't know why I didn't just grab the grass path there. You'd more than be able to just do that if you wanted to. And you could even make it a little bit more dramatic because, yeah, I mean, that looks alright. Actually, it looks a little bit better like that. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. There is quite a large dead tree in the front garden, probably about here-ish. So, sort of like, why don't we place it directly in the middle of the second segment of the path, and it'll probably be about 2 or so rows away from the boundary, so like 1, 2. And it's just basically we're using some dark oak wood here, so the proper wood blocks, probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll extend like in, up, and then in, something like that, right? So just just to give that sort of shape. It's a really weird shaped tree, to be honest with you, and that will do just fine. If we want, we can add more spruce leaves, like I said, especially like around the sides here if we want to, just to kind of like, kind of keep with the theme. It's not really a big deal. Again, if you know more about the house, that'd be fantastic. If you know more than me, that'd be great if you could just add more little details here, there, and everywhere. But obviously, I'm just guessing when it comes to certain points. Now that we've done the main house, though, we now have a garage or a garage. And the garage is going to be made predominantly out of, what are we using? We're using some birchwood planks, we're using some quartz stairs, and then pretty much just green terracotta. There's not too much more. But then to finish off the house, we will also be using some block of quartz, we'll be using some wooden shovels, and we'll also be using iron bars. Or any shovel, by the way. Might even grab the grass path just in case. Okay, so the garage is situated, if you come all the way to the back right hand corner of the house, the part that sticks out, which is right here, and if you leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, and on this 5th row here, you place yourself a birchwood plank, and then you place 3 on top, 1, 2, 3, and then you can extend this this 3rd block here, you can extend it right in, and then we want to start extending down, so we'll take this lower block here and we'll go right, down, right, and then all the way down to the ground like this. We're going to place 3 rows of quartz stairs in and behind these two birchwood rows, so that's going to be 1, 2, and then 3 rows of birch stairs here, like this. We're going to place birchwood planks up above where we place the stairs, because that's just a normal sort of garage door, however you want to say it. And then we're going to extend the birchwood planks backwards as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost to the boundary. You can extend both sides backwards equally like this, so we're going to do this side, and then we will do the same for the other side. And what we will also do is we'll join them together at the back. Once we get to that point, we'll make the same pointy sort of roof that we kind of have on the front, and I'm also going to add a row of birchwood planks up above the garage door, which is the quartz stairs. And in addition to that, once we've placed all of these rows of birch, like I said, just a few rows of birch, kind of make that triangular pointy shape. And then it's as simple as doing what we did with all of the other roofs. So all the other roofs, it's green terracotta, it's placing the green terracotta around the edge of the roof, kind of like this. It'll join, it'll connect together on itself. We can then fill the middle part in, and we'll be adding a wall. There is weirdly enough, I don't know why this is, but well, actually, I guess it's the neighbor's wall. There's two different styles of wall. Now we're just connecting the roof together. There's 2 different styles of wall / fence around the house. It's kind of like a chain link fence, more so around the left side of the house. But then there's also kind of like what would you call it? Kind of like a white picket fence / some sort of wall boundary connecting to the neighbors. So we want to have something which looks like that, which is looking pretty good. As I mentioned with the wall, there is going to be a block of quartz wall that is going to start from the back left-hand corner of the garage here. It's going to extend around and forwards. It's going to extend all the way to the boundary. The wall is going to be 2 rows high. So 2 rows of a block of quartz in that position. We are then going to use iron bars around the rest of the boundary. This is where the little white concrete grid comes in handy. And we are going to place 2 rows of iron bars on top of each other, more so focusing on the back and the left-hand side of the house, kind of like this. I get confused, like when you're on the back, that turns into the right, and when you're on the front, it's the left. So yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. And all we have to do from this point onwards is we just have to create a driveway. There we go. We have to create a driveway for the garage. And that is simply made out of grass path. So how... Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Perfect. Just a little driveway made out of grass path. That is the width of the garage. It's actually not even a special path. Like, you know how the path for the front of the house or for the entrance of the house is kind of like jagged and it curves and all of that. This one does not. So we basically just want to have something which should look exactly like that. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, once you have done that, you've actually completed the house. Very well done. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what Billy's house will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. We have the main house sorted out, we have the garage sorted out, we have all of the nice little details such as the bushes and the tree and the paths all done. And once you have completed it, you will end up with a pretty large, classic cartoon house. I'm very happy with how this looks. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new around here, and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all of my stuff sent directly to your sub box. I'm kind of on a classic Cartoon Network kick at the moment, so if you do want to check out any other houses, classic houses, and there are some more modern ones too, check out the card system, description below, and the top of the comment section for all of those. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!